She began to juggle the remaining castles once more, swifter than his eyes could follow. Then why? Because they are still in danger. You said I paid for ransom. How? He thought of Brynless. The lovely features drew into an expression of shock. Not with pain. I am not so cruel as all that. You paid with belief. Of course. What other coin would deity accept? Is it possible to do the same for which one? As unable as he had been to choose a castle to destroy, neither could he choose one to save. She was smiling again. Her eyes were green and then blue, black and then hazel and then gray. Her hair was spun sunlight, no, fiery red, no, soft brown, black, pure silver. She was his mother, and Sioned, and Andrade, and Hollis, and Brynless, and even Allison. You see how difficult power can be. One more will fall. But which? She flung all the spheres up into the air. He watched helplessly, holding his breath, heart stopped in his chest, higher, higher, 7 glowing globes shrinking to pinpoints of light that circled into a crown of stars. Andry! My lord, wake up! The voice was urgent, familiar. Andry! He opened his eyes. Ivarin. Only him. Where is she? He muttered thickly. The master physician sagged with relief. About time you came out of it. Don't worry about Princess Allison. She's on her way to Farouche. She should get there tomorrow sometime. I had a look earlier while you were sleeping. Then this fever came over you like a summer squall, and it was all I could do to get a cure down your throat. How do you feel now? Cold. Drenched in sweat, Andry huddled into a sopping blanket. Ivarin produced a dry one that reeked of horse. Andry found the smell comforting. He stripped off wet clothes and wrapped himself in the wool. Then he drank whatever Ivarin gave him and lay back weakly. A little fire glimmered nearby, warming the darkness of a small stone shelter. Where are we? One of Lord Garrick's way stations. Before you ask, we got here on horseback. Undignified, but there weren't any artistes around to note the pose for a commemorative portrait, so stop babbling and tell me what happened. Then, looking more closely at Ivarin's face, he said gently, You've got a fever yourself. How's the leg? The young man shrugged. It'll do. Where'd the horse come from? Your horse, actually. He wandered back. You don't remember? No. Well, you got a pretty nasty crack on the head today. Your memory may play tricks for a while. Anyway, we heard hoofbeats, and you tried some whistle or other, and your stallion came trotting up, well, limping, actually. You took the stone from his hoof, and you really don't remember? None of it. But I'm glad you didn't have to do all the work yourself. I presume we got on the horse and started riding. I doubt you'd call it that. He grinned tiredly. Your father'd be appalled, or laugh himself senseless, one of the two, seeing us. And I'm babbling again, so I think I'll let you take the watch for a while. Yes, get some rest. Is there anything to eat? Water and what was in your saddlebags. Ivarin reached out and dragged the leather satchels over. Dry clothes, too. Good. You lie down and sleep. I'll tend the fire. One moment Ivarin's little blaze faded, and the next Andry called fire to the same spot. The exchange was made smoothly. At least the injury to his head hadn't played foul with his gifts. The physician curled himself into another blanket and was asleep between one breath and the next. Andry changed clothes, keeping the blanket like a shawl over his shoulders. It was bitterly cold, but his need for warmth had more to do with his guts than his skin. One will fall, but which? Oh, goddess, which one? He took hard bread and cheese from his saddlebags and went to the shelter doorway. He had no sense of time.